So best products for early spring sales. Now, obviously, a lot of breeding in this arena from many breeders. I'm going to focus on going forward on just the Selecta material because A, it's what we are selling, and it's also what I'm most familiar with. But so again, if you look at the early spring products, the big target, the big hitter is Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is that transition moment when we go from the garden centers cracking open the doors, starting to look at spring a little bit. The bulbs, forcing bulbs are starting to show up. The violas and pansies and the primulas and a few other things are starting to show up at the retailers, often sold in the vestibule or sometimes bravely into the gardens. But the big opportunity to really get in front of a consumer is the Valentine's Day message itself. So again, we're going to talk about specific Valentine's Day programs and then also early garden opportunities. So in Selecta, what Selecta has been just the market leader in Europe on pot carnations, and they've been leading the charge with some branded products. And these are excellent, high-performing products that, based on the fact that they're so easy to produce or high-quality production, that they've invested in these marketing programs with it. And so we are piggybacking on that in North America on a few varieties. One is this I Love You. This is a very interesting variety. It is fully doubled. It's very early to flower. It's very compact. It also has this beautiful, as we call, YTT or pretty fade or whatever you want to call it, but basically it opens this sort of rosy pink and fades to a pure white. Long life on these flowers, extremely long life. So, and then the nice thing about it too, with these guys, you sell it for Valentine's Day. People keep it on the windowsill and they can plant it out in the garden even before frost is over, but once the ground thaws effectively, and then they'll continue to produce through the summer and make a really pretty plant going into the fall. Depending if it's really hot in the summers, they might go dead green in the heat of the summer, but they'll bounce back again when we hit the fall. But again, for Valentine's, we have two programs, branded programs, and more on that as we get into retail opportunities with I Love You and Early Love. Then if we want to get into series, one of our series that's our top selling series worldwide and our top selling series in North America right now is the Oscar family. It's a true series. It is, as we often see in the case of like with garden moms, the real uniform families are genetic siblings, and that's what these are. All of these are sport-based. So if you can see this picture here, this guy's got a bunch of varieties, and they're all exactly the same age. These are pictures below from the trial, and you can see they're all same age plants, and this doesn't even show all of them. But the idea is they're super uniform, but what's also really nice about them is they're very compact and super free branching. So they're very easy for an inexperienced grower to produce. They don't require a lot of pinching, don't require growth regulators. They can be grown cool. They're also excellent garden performing and continuous flowering. So these are really nice, again, early enough to time and with the appropriate color range to make Valentine's products.
Gary, I popped in because we have a question.
Fire away.
Judy wants to know, we're talking for Valentine's Day before we go on early spring. As an indoor gift plant, about how long will the flowers look good? I guess we could look at it two ways, for the retailer and then for the end consumer. What kind of value are they going to get?
That's an excellent question. And what we believe and what we see is that we can get at least, depending, obviously conditions inside are going to be an issue, but in relatively bright indoor conditions, normal temperatures, as long as it's not too hot, 4 to 5 weeks off of these plants of still looking good. And then again, you can move them right outside too. That's the beauty of these things. If you put them in a bright window, a cool bright window, you can get even more.
Yeah, and the cooler you can keep them, the better they last. Also, you mentioned with the I Love You series, YTT. I know what it means, but tell everybody what YTT means, for those who don't know.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
Let's see if you know what it means.
Those that aren't old, like Chris and I. YTT refers to yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And the idea is what it does is it speaks to, and we have this in a lot of different varieties across multiple species, is the idea is there's a color shift as the flowers age. The beauty of this one is they age, but they last so long. So you end up with this really long-lived white flower that it fades to. It's not, doesn't start to, they always fear when you fade to white is things start to go brown or yellow and the flowers get ugly, but these stay bright white. So really breakthrough. The other thing that's important when you talk about Valentine's Day about durability is why, again, go back to the sort of core premise, why Dianthus? Well, one of the things that Dianthus can do is, for the grocery accounts particularly, is they can be shipped in a box and run through a produce distribution center at very cold temperatures in a box. A lot of species can't do that. So having that opportunity for the product to run through an existing retailer's distribution chain is a very, very important aspect of this, and part of the process what's made it work so well as it's exploded in Europe as well.
Still needing to protect from ethylene though, and I don't know whether we'll get into that at any point in.
Ethylene is a bugger, but the beauty of ethylene is the colder you go, the less you get. So the bottom line is keep these things cold in a box, and you're fine. Get them warm in a box, then okay, you got some ethylene issues.
All right, good point. Last quick question: some fellow named Craig, who we may both know, what is and I missed you mentioning this term. What is a sport-based series? Asks Craig.
Oh, okay. So basically what a sport-based series means is the original variety was bred. And if you look at this particular photograph, the original variety, I believe, would be the fourth from the left. Everything else out of this was a mutation that occurred typically in production. In the case of this Oscar, there are some growers that are growing literally millions of these things in the Netherlands. And so the breeder walks these crops when they flower and then makes selections out of these. And so the idea of a sport-based mutation is that the genetic foundation is the same as the parent. It's the sort of the premise in the poinsettia world. Historically, a quote series of poinsettias, red, white, pink, marble, are all sports of the red. Now that arena has changed dramatically genetically here in the last few years, but that's what this means. And what that usually brings is extreme uniformity. Uniformity in how the plants behave, timing, flower size, etc.
You see, so Craig, in other words, it has nothing to do with being in your favorite team colors.
No, this is not the.
Thank you for clearing that up. All right,
sorry, there are no green or blue versions of this out there. We do have a green in the cut flower type. So
there you go. Let's move on to spring then, Gary. Thank you.
So anyway, early spring opportunities. Again, you start looking at this is the lines between perennial and annual get blurred, and I think my experience in my previous life was we often position them as perennial in the early years because we got paid more. We got a few more pennies a pot, and it made sense to make it into the perennial. And I think a lot of it kind of landed in that perennial market in the U.S., whereas in Europe they're sold as sort of a garden plant that, maybe it's perennial, cool, but not the primary message. But we have both opportunities to use that as a premium annual and then also as garden. One of the new things that's coming from us, we've had this product called Dianthus, and it's this cushion type. Now we've upgraded the genetics to this new Pashmina, and these are very low growing, free flowering, spreading, good perennial, and just have this really nice sort of mounds of color. So again, it's a fun thing. It can get to market early spring, super durable, and it will continue to bloom and fill out for the consumer. Traditional, again, I've been involved with Dianthus for quite a few years, and what we've seen in the market is the traditional concept of what a quote perennial Dianthus was like the old fire witch, things like that. These were kind of known as being almost cottage garden-y type plants, open wispy type plants, also known to have a bloom window. This was your shot. It bloomed, and then it was just some kind of a green plant in the garden. What more modern perennial types from Selecta and other breeders is these will continuously put more flowering up longer. We've gotten earliness in the timing, so they're flowering quicker. We've also been able to add a lot of remontanence or continuous blooming response in these genetically. So they've become very different. And then also what we've been able to do is, again, I'd say we, as I'm talking about the industry, not just Selecta, but the industry as a whole, has been able to bring double flower types and single flower types into this true hardy zone 5 type perennial Dianthus. So it's the genetically the world has exploded, and we want to capitalize on the opportunity with our supply chain. The breeding is outstanding. I'm just I'm always psyched about to see what's new stuff's coming. We have some great stuff coming. One of the opportunities, again, when we talked about the Oscars as being a sport-based family, this is another sport-based family. It's called Dianthus. And what these are is these are all, again, double flowered. These are sort of medium vigor, double flowered, but they're very, very fragrant. And again, being sport-based, they're super uniform, so they can be mixed and matched in containers, and then they work really good, both as a sort of premium pot sale or as a garden plant sale. It not necessarily a hardy perennial would be considered a tender perennial. But again, this Dianthus, they are really nice to grow, very easy to grow. Look really good early flowering. So it's a great, if you want a sort of pot carnation look with the fragrance and everything for the early spring window, this is a good product as well. Can be made for Valentine's Day. So when we get into spring sales, main spring, we're talking April, May. We're really looking at Mother's Day and Easter opportunities. Again, Mother's Day probably being the bigger one. And so there's some really good products, including branded products and some new genetics that I think are ideal to hit the Mother's Day, Easter markets. And then there's more expansion of other genetics that will work into this spring garden opportunity, both with the perennial hat or with an annual hat on them. One of the cool things that's new for us that's really exciting is the Capitan family. And these are larger plants, really good for like a 2.5 quart up to like a 14-inch patio pot. They are beautiful, big flowered, great bicolors, and then on longer stems. So they literally can cut and make small vase plants out of them as well. So this is sort of a high utility. This says coming soon, but they're available now. We have a lot of trials going on out there now. And if you want to join us at CAST this year, we'd love to show them to you. But we're really excited about this one. We think this has a great opportunity to attack multiple retail windows, and specifically because of the colors and the beauty of this thing is we think we could make some really nice sort of premium Mother's Day gift items out of this. Again, you get into spring garden types, the sort of traditional double flower carnation, our Super Trooper line, which has been the mainstay of our carnation program for years, or it's carnation type Dianthus program for years. Medium vigor, wide array of colors. Again, it's used in indoor programs. It's also used as tender perennials, and in the South, it's sold often as a premium annual. So again, really nice series to work with there. New for us this year, we're really excited about this one as a North American market. This is like a Super Trooper type of product, a true pot carnation type, fully double flowered. Again, in a specific breeding, obviously, but more of a carnation look. But this is core colors and a bigger footprint. These are like perfect for your 2.5 quart mainstream retail programs. Very nice. You can see in the trial, they flower very, very close in timing. They're very similar in habits, all double flowered. So they make a really nice sort of core color gallon program. So we're real excited about this one. Super good opportunity, I think, here in North America as a garden plant.